So just, I mean, essentially they declare war on you when you're a sovereign, and I've spoke about that, and other sovereigns have spoke about that several times. I mean, because you got to think about it, it's a commodities race, like a commodities war, and you're a commodity, or you may have commodities, and you move into areas, and you don't know this, but you put liens on people's commodities if you don't essentially know what you're doing at certain times. You can be doing that if you move in a certain way. So that's why they got IDs and stuff like that to keep control of people doing that or whatever. Like as far as like just moving and taking control of resources and messing up commodities and independent nations, and that's why they declare war on you as a sovereign. So I mean, I'm fully conscious of that, um, and aware of that the fact that they can do that. And I am a person that's moving like that because of my situation. I mean, there's many so-called African Americans that were probably born in this situation or whatever, or black people or so-called black people. I'm using those terms loosely because I don't use them in the legal sense like that, but that may have been in the situation that's born over here and really was descended from another country some kind of way. They had to come over here and they make you like get IDs, but over time they just told me like behind a secret at a bank that, and I've told you guys this over and over again, that my ID was expired, or not just expired, but essentially pronounced dead. Big difference, pronounced dead. My identification was pronounced dead at a certain time. And when I got to research, I'm like, I don't understand that. Like, what are you talking? And they really didn't explain it. It's like, I'm telling you, this is what it is. It was just these executives, and they showed me it in the computer and on paper. And when I started to use the ID anyway, of course, I'm like, whatever. I started experiencing problems from jobs to homeland security. And I'm like, what? And they just never, I'm like, they pulled me in the office, like, we just can't hire you because of this and that. And I'm like, what? Why? And then it was never given why. And bankers explained to me because you were pronounced dead. So that's how I got into this. Some people chose to get into this, like just to sound cute and whatever. And it's more of a story than that. So like here I am now. I'm bringing that up for a reason about the ID thing. I'm more conscious of it now. So like you have to establish an ID in this country, and there's many ways to do that. They may try to fight you for it, but there's many ways to do that outside of just getting a picture and putting it on a document or plastic piece of paper, of which I tried to do, like I explained to you guys earlier. I've been through that already, and was really to a point where they held it once it was expired. It was like, we can't even give you an ID again. I'm like, what? And they just never explained why. I mean, just imagine going through that. You're like, but what? But why? I'm going to sue these people. I'm going to, you just call an attorney, and then they'll get to explain what I'm saying to you now. But in their own way, it's kind of like they can expatriate you when your resources and commodities associated with your social security number has been compromised some kind of way. If people could be trading on it or whatever the case may be, they could just pronounce that whole straw man dead and just move on. And that happened up under a certain administration in this presidency with myself. So only that particular presidency, of which that time was the 44th presidency, would be keen to getting into like, knowing the black box of what exactly is going down with that. So here I am now in this scenario. I'm here at the foreign land we spoke on in the other episode. And I mean, it's always like that. Even when I go across sea, and that's what I'm explaining to people, this is a part of this secret society that I am forming, of which I tell you guys a lot of stuff on camera, and I don't talk about a lot of stuff on camera, but this is like all a part of it. Because it's really the only way to move right now in this country based upon what happened to not just myself, but other people, other nations. I mean, look at the World Cup. Like, that's when I started following money, and look at the nations and how things are going in the stocks and in the arenas of foreign stocks versus American stocks, foreign currencies versus American currency. Not to say that American currency is weak or strong. America has always played a middle position anyway in exchange anyway, because of the fact that it's fiat currency, which represents more of a kind of like a holding scenario with the U.S. dollar. Anyway, it can be like used as a holding scenario anyway, and they're using it to move into other currencies on a digital level. And then you got this thing with U.S. dollars where they're trying to get rid of that too. So that's all associated with this ID thing that I've learned about and been speaking about. When your ID is used, you don't know this as a person that may be a ward of state with an ID in all caps. But every time you going across bridges, driving across certain roads, it may not be no tolls there. You're like, we don't have to pay a toll. It's no toll. They got hidden tolls. The governor brokers these things for you. You know nothing of them until you become a sovereign. So the governor is responsible for you when it comes to that. And many people know that, you know what I'm saying? So, and they just don't care. They're like unconscious of it, but it's getting to a point, and it will continue to happen where you're going to have to be conscious of it because it's going to start to affect the stock market, and it's already happening in the American construct. And sports is one thing, but you start talking about affecting stocks and currency exchange and all of that, that's a whole nother thing of which it can affect, whether it's getting eaten up by profit, because people don't know about that. You can get eaten up by profit or debt, depending on the scenario of a situation where it's constant profit and the rich constantly keep making all of this money. And then you have a level of people that aren't making this money and aren't sharing it. They aren't sharing it. This can cause a big gap in separation in society or whatever. So I had to form an ID, and this is what I go across sea constantly to keep an ID. So that's a part of this secret society that I won't really disclose the name of, and it's a lot to it. And we don't speak. I mean, we do, but there's aspects of it where we don't speak, in certain forms of it, because they have to move within their own secret societies. You got people that may be Freemasons and different stuff, whatever they're into, you know what I'm saying? They're still into that, so they can't even talk to me anyway on that level, but they may be in it. They're just like, I'll give you the sign, like I'm with it, but I can't talk to you. I mean, it's that serious, like what I'm involved in or whatever. So yeah, you got that, but then we have times where it's meltdowns and wars and financial wars and stuff like that. It's not just war, what you're thinking about. So it's about to shut down. I'll get back up with you guys in the future. Just want to let you guys know everything's copacetic and go ahead and go into this ID piece because I want to take you into the age aspect as well, the fountain of youth. Namaste.